So in this lesson, remember I told you that there was two different formulas. A formula we've used all chapter, and then this new formula which we just dealt with right now. Now let's go back to using this formula. We're going to use this formula when we're dealing with graphs. So let's look at this graph. The graph shows how much Serena earns at her job. Find the rate she makes in dollars per hour. So if you look at this graph, our y-axis is dollars and our x-axis is hours. So you can see that in 4 hours, Serena has made $40. In 8 hours, Serena has made $80. In 12 hours, Serena has made $120. And in 16 hours, Serena has made $160. So what I want to do is find the rate she makes in dollars per hour. What I want to know is how much she makes in 1 hour. And remember in the beginning, I told you that sometimes your word problem breaks down how you're going to divide it. So dollars per stands for division. So we're doing dollars divided by hours. So we're doing dollars divided by hours. If you look at dollars, dollars is our y. And if you look at hours, hours is our x. Where have you seen y equals x? Where have you seen this? Right here in the formula we talked about earlier. No, it's stuck. We have talked about this all chapter. Constant is y divided by x. So guess what? By doing dollars divided by hours, we're technically doing y divided by x. So that means that we're basically looking for our constant. So how do I get the y and the x numbers? Look at your different dots. You have different possibilities. You have a dot there, you have a dot there, you have a dot there, and you have a dot there. So all you have to do is choose one of those dots. So let's choose this dot right here. Now, give me the coordinates of that dot. So this dot is 4, because x goes first, 40. Now, if you think about it, an ordered pair is made of an x number and a y number. That's all you have to do, y divided by x. So all you're doing is doing 40 divided by x, which is 4. So all you did was grab a point, identify the x and y, and then you just divide y divided by x, and that gives you 10. So that means that she gets paid $10 every 1 hour, and that's how easy it is. But basically, we've already been using this formula all chapter, so this should be easy for you guys. Now, let's pretend we use a different point. So let's say you use this point. This point is 880. Y is going to be 80, and x is going to be 8. And guess what? It still gives you 10. What happens if you use this point right here? It's going to be 120 divided by 12, which still gives you 10. And what happens if you use this point right here? You have 160. You're going to realize that 160 divided by 16 is still 10. So what do you notice? You notice that this is constant. Why is this constant? You have to remember what I taught you about graphs. If a graph is a straight line, if a graph crosses the origin, you see how it's touching the origin right there? If it is a straight line crossing the origin, that means that this graph is proportional. And what did we learn in the beginning when I was breaking down the vocabulary? If something is proportional, that means it is constant. So it makes sense for it to be constant. It gave you 10 every time because it is a straight line crossing the origin, which means it's proportional. So that means this is constant. Now, what else did we learn about this lesson? If something is constant, it has a direct variation. So guess what? Is there a direct variation in this graph? Yes. Why is there a direct variation in this graph? Because it is constant. It is proportional. So that's how easy it is to determine if a graph is proportional. That is how easy it is to determine if a graph is constant. And that's how easy it is to determine if a graph has a direct variation. If it is proportional, And we know it's proportional because guess what? It's a straight line crossing the origin. That means it's proportional. But we also did the math. You see how it was constant? That means it is proportional. And since it's proportional, since it's constant, that means, yes, there is a direct variation. So that's how we determine direct variation. We first have to determine if it's proportional and if it's constant, which means, yes, there is direct variation.